Hey, greetings everybody. How's it going? It's my pick of the movies this week, and I figured we go a little old school. Not something video game related as I usually do. Never forget Street Fighter. But we're going back to the 80s with one of my personal favorite thriller movies, horror movies, however you want to look at it, because this franchise did originally start as sci-fi horror. Terminator. James Cameron. Terminator, to be exact.
Not Judgment Day, original Terminator.
I was going to say, not video game related? Wow, someone needs to tell Hollywood.
Yeah, but this is a blast from my past. I love the Terminator series. Well, the first two movies anyway.
That's
the entire series.
I was about to say, that counts for basically every Terminator fan.
That's the cutoff point where the Terminator stopped being a standalone creative endeavor and just sort of became a franchise zombie.
All right, so there's plenty of ways you can find the movie. I think Ted here, first time watcher here.
Yep.
Is renting it off Amazon. Just for the record, our playthrough begins on the MGM logo. So line up your video files now.
Also, line up your copy of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Sorry, wrong movie.
Okay. All right, so on the zero, hit play, and we'll start commentating over this together. 3, 2, 1, play. There you go. The MGM logo right there.
Such an old clip of the lion.
I don't think, they never bothered updating that line.
No, because
it's the same line they filmed in the 20s.
Yeah, so that line is dead.
That line is probably long dead.
That lion is fertilizer that pushed up the flowers that became fertilizer for the flowers that were planted 50 goddamn years ago.
Oh man, Orion. Is Orion even still a thing anymore in today's?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I haven't really heard their name in much of anything, so.
Well, every time I hear Orion, I kind of think of immediately of Men in Black, if only because of Orion's belt, which has nothing to do with anything. But
that's not Orion's belt.
Just
Orion's pelt.
Word association.
And
So we're not too far off from Terminator's future. Given about 12 years, and considering the recent presidency, then this is not that inaccurate.
Well,
I assume this happens after the Tokyo nuclear event at the Olympics in 2020.
Well, we're all sitting in the timeline where the second movie wasn't pointless and Judgment Day didn't happen.
So was this James Cameron's first high-profile movie?
That I know of, but I don't want to say yes to that.
No, I believe James Cameron at this time, he had this, and he directed Aliens too, didn't he? Aliens?
Oh,
wasn't that Ridley Scott still?
No, Ridley Scott was the first one.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
Also, reading. Ding.
Yeah. Okay, no. Terminator predates Aliens by 2 years. So this is 1984. Aliens is 1986. I want to think it's this movie that helped him get that director.
So under the Wikipedia page, major films, Terminator 1 is his first one, 84. Then Rambo 2, or Rambo First Blood Part 2 in 85, and then Aliens in 86. Yeah.
So this is where he got his name out. Though personally, I think, starting with Aliens 2 and up until Terminator 2 is when he really, fucking exploded. Not to say that this film didn't
Titanic,
dude,
get
his name out there too. But no, I mean as a start. Obviously, there's Titanic and later Avatar and all that stuff. But the Terminator franchise is really what's responsible for him getting his name out there. And
the fun fact about Terminator, though, the idea spawned from a fever nightmare he had.
Yeah, the exoskeleton of the Terminator is based off of a nightmare. Specifically, the skeleton in the flames.
Yeah.
I believe was part of his nightmare, and he's like, I should make a movie out of this.
Yeah, the Terminator exoskeleton thing going on. That's
fantasy too.
I don't know why it's such an iconic thing, but it is, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sephiroth's iconic theme in Final Fantasy VII was based off Terminator, which is it's kind of same feeling being invoked there.
So a Sigma 1 stage.
Yeah, you're right. But
also, look at those Super Nintendo graphics.
You're being really generous. This is Sega CD, motherfucker.
I don't know. Have you seen the intro to the Super Nintendo Terminator game?
Old school movie titling is a beauty to behold.
So, what are you guys where do you guys start with the Terminator series? Did you start with the first one? Did you start with
Judgment Day.
T2 like a lot of people did? Yeah, I'm not surprised it was Judgment Day. To me personally, I also technically started with Judgment Day. I didn't watch a whole lot of it though. Like cause I saw Terminator 2 Judgment Day very young. I was maybe 5 or 6 years old.
What parent takes their
And
5-year-old to a freaking Terminator movie?
Oh no, I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it in like HBO or Showtime, like when it was making its run on the cable.
I more want to know what garbage disposal service is working at 2 in the morning. They normally like to wait until 4 a.m. to wake you up right before you're supposed to wake up, so it's too much of a hassle to go back to sleep because you're going to wake up soon anyway, but it's still too early to do anything.
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Actually, I started with the first Terminator movie. I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it on video cassette. And
Well, I would hope you wouldn't watch it in theaters.
that-
This is years
that
before you were
question
born, so...
You just asked about who takes a young child to watch a Terminator movie. Well, my dad showed us this movie when I was 8. I was the oldest one of us, so...
Yeah, my parents and my relatives did not give two shits about what I was watching, as long as it wasn't straight up porn.
I wish I could say that was the case, but this was the start of a very of the inconsistent parenting trend, where we were allowed to watch
Arnold ass,
where we were allowed to watch the Terminator, including this bit, but the part in the middle where they sleep with each other. No, they had to fast forward through that while we were watching.
Can't show that, but by all means, look at Arnold's magnificent German ass. Well, say Austrian ass.
Yeah, Austrian. Also, this is too far out even for the 80s for this guy's hair.
For the record,
That's Bill-
like Arnold
that's Bill
Schwarzenegger.
Paxton,
Oh,
by
you
the
can
way,
see
God
his
rest his
dong.
soul.
You can see his dong. Oh boy. Oh, I did not need to have that image in my head.
These
But
guys seem way too into naked Arnold.
Well,
for the record, though, Arnold Schwarzenegger just straight up does not look human. Like no human being can.
That's why he
physically
fits so well for
Which
a
is
robot.
why he got the role.
yeah, I mean it's perfect casting choice. He's a soulless robot.
Although, a bit of a fun fact for Arnie, though, his first major film role was Hercules, actually, but because
Hercules in New York.
because of his heavy accent, he was actually dubbed over by a different actor.
But the original audio is still out there.
Yeah.
And I implore anyone who wanted to see Arnold's humble in quotes there, in film, catch the original audio of Hercules in New York, and he is goddamn near unintelligible because his accent is so thick, and he was just learning the English language at the time.
Did Arnold Schwarzenegger just Temple of Doom someone before Temple of Doom was even a thing?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Also, other fun fact about Arnold, more recent one, he actually has a linguist coach to keep his accent because it's such a huge part of his identity as a public figure.
Oh, so you think that he can drop the accent entirely if he
Well, now he
happens.
can, because he's been speaking English almost natively for so long that he's kind of lost part of his accent, so he has a linguist to help him keep it, because that's such a huge part of his
because
identity.
I think that if you had an accent from the start, you'd never lose that. I just think that's a treat.
You would be surprised.
As you get better at speaking the language, it would drop. I guess.
You have to remember he's been here for like 40 years now, so.
Yeah.
Michael Biehn is Kyle Reese. This is the only character I know him as in his entire film career.
Kyle Reese.
I don't even know this actor's
Michael
name.
Biehn is Kyle
No.
Reese.
Yeah, I can't think of anything either.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I've maybe seen him in a couple of movies, but they don't come off the top of my head. I just know him as Kyle Reese from Terminator.
Why is everyone naked in the future?
Well, you see, in the future, we've outgrown clothes. It's primitive.
We transcended.
They actually
apparel.
do bring that up later on.
No, I know. I'm just making fun of it because the movie still hasn't explained anything at this point. So you're wondering why everyone's naked.
Yeah, it's a really amusing little quirk, the time travel thing. But apparently it can only transport living matter, or not living matter that happens to be wrapped in living matter.
My only question is, how did exactly did the police already get on his ass already?
Yeah, that would require the police
because-
to actually do something.
Well, it's not even that. He just appeared in this alleyway, and there was a bright flash of light, which to the police, that could have been anything. It could have been an electric shortage or anything like that.
Or
But
just
the
like a
police
nightclub sign or
say,
something,
Like, is
but-
that the guy? As if they were looking for him already. I always thought that was a little weird.
I think they were looking for the Terminator. Like,
Oh, okay. You know, when you put it that way, you're
yeah,
right.
like when Arnold left the other guys behind, he didn't kill them.
We're never gonna call him the Terminator, are we? We're just gonna call him Arnold.
I mean, there's no reason for the Terminator to have killed the other guys once he got the clothes. He just walks away. So they call the cops, and all they know is that there's this buff
What
guy
year is it?
who's stealing clothes.
Yeah, Terminator's got Jumanji beat by a whole 11 years, motherfuckers.
That's another movie we
But
should
nobody
do.
ever uses this clip because they like Robin Williams more.
Well, Robin Williams also really oversold it, which is the point.
Oh man.
Oh,
Good
now
thing
we
this
can see
grocery
the
store
really
keeps its
out of
doors
date grocery products. Yes.
All logo Pepsi, yeah.
This is the kind of stuff Ashens eats on YouTube. But
Man, I'm surprised he doesn't have like actual mushrooms growing in his stomach from how old the food is.
I'm sure he is too.
So this movie's supposed to take place in New York, right?
L.A.
L. Oh, okay.
actually,
Yeah, they're basically
Yes,
the same.
yes.
So sorry, Kyle. No get no Avengers help this time. You're in L.A.
I think the only Marvel movie at this time was the Fantastic Four, was it? Or is this still, or even before that one?
This is mid 80s, right? Yeah, because this is before the Captain America film. And
Yeah, because Captain America was 90.
Product
I think?
at
placement.
90, I think it was 91.
Nikes. I remember when there were commercials for those all over the place.
Dude, did you have to pick like the sketchiest possible outfit you could? Like, I mean, you're trying to not be suspicious here.
You're trying to steal Dante's style like 20 goddamn years before he was a thing. That's
Which means Dante
impressive.
is stealing Kyle Reese's style.
So, just to get an idea of the Terminator.
So they keep their cars running and unmanned. Good to
The
know.
door's unlocked and the guns are
and they
inside.
left behind the shotgun. Oh yeah, you're just gonna be able to hide a shotgun. All right, dude.
Well, he is wearing a trench coat, so.
He is wearing a trench coat.
Yeah,
Maybe that's exactly why he picked it up.
That's what makes trench coats.
Pop
suspicious.
collar, what a douche.
So in the Terminator timeline, when did Judgment Day happen? Like the war started? Was it like?
Judgment Day was in 1997, I think.
So would Kyle Reese even know what like regular life was like then?
No,
No. So
he was born in the post-apocalyptic.
yeah. So like, wouldn't all of this like freak him out then?
Well,
People gave him a
I
general
believe
idea.
what's implied is that he has looked up like archives, or he was told about it from survivors of that war.
And I'm sure some books survived and stuff of just like pictures
Yeah.
and stuff. So I'm sure he has a general idea. God damn it! Why
Yeah,
are there
general
why are there three of you in the same damn city?
Oh my God! Look, kids, it's a phone book. Now you may not know
A phone book and a
That's how we
phone booth.
communicate with each other. Yeah.
Anyway, introducing Sarah Connor, the protagonist of the first movie. Yeah, she is the protagonist. Get over it, people.
Like we just went from a sci-fi thriller to the opening of a goddamn sitcom.
Cue the opening of the
Me and my
Breakfast Club.
deadly killer robot.
Don't forget,
Johnny Five is alive.
don't forget the floofy
But this
80s
fall
hair.
tonight.
We can't
And mom
not
jeans.
have the floofy 80s hair.
Yeah, and the mom jeans.
But she's not a mom yet, right?
Yeah, but they're still mom jeans.
Like there is just head, stomach, leg.
Time punches.
Again, Lyndall Hamilton. Again, an actress I only know from Terminator. Like I don't know if she's ever done anything else.
I'll
or
look
ever
it up.
needed-
This looks so fucking funny with Arnold in that outfit.
I was a big fan of Bill Paxton.
I think I'm going to kill him later.
He gave me his jacket. I'm so honored.
Now, you know,
Bill Paxton, the only person to be killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator.
if they were in fact looking for the Terminator when the cops were out in force that night, you know, there's several holes in their logic chasing down Kyle Reese. Like the Terminator had already stolen clothes, so why were they chasing after the guy who was still naked?
Maybe he didn't like the clothes and he wanted to change in the alleyway.
And
Maybe he's an exhibitionist.
And two, did they think that did they think that the back alley gang people were just exaggerating and decided to go after the infinitely skinnier guy?
Oh my god, you're a little shit.
What was that he put inside the apron? Was it
Ice cream.
Ice cream? Was it ice cream?
What
Yeah,
kind
it was
of...
ice
Okay,
cream.
hold on. What 5-year-old kid would waste perfectly good ice cream just to screw
That's just on top of why he's such a little shit.
Yeah, if there's someone who
So
needs to
you're
be
just gonna,
assassinated,
before he
give
even
the
buys it, you're just going to get. What? This guy looks familiar.
He's Dick Miller.
Oh, okay, that's why it looks familiar.
Ah,
Why is there a scope on the handgun?
Why not? All right, this is America. We can have as stupid guns as we want.
Gun laws were really, really lax in the mid-'80s. I'm so glad we live today.
what state is this?
The California.
Well, then
California.
again, this is also the 80s. I have no idea what gun laws were like in the U.S. for the 80s.
Well, apparently you can just walk into a shop, buy a
Who
shotgun.
keeps the ammo right on the frickin'
stock on it.
front counter?
That's a good thing. I mean, what do you fuck? What was it a blank?
That would have been embarrassing,
Oh, you failed the test. Nah, I'm not giving you the gun, asshole.
but it also would have been. But it also would have been dangerous.
Oh,
because,
that
blanks
would have been a.
actually are dangerous to fire at people. They're just not fatal to fire at people.
That would have been a smart idea, though. Keep the if you have the ammo up front, make them all blank, so when anyone tries to pull that stunt, you can just call the cops immediately.
Yeah.
Then again, the
Murderous
Terminator
intent.
doesn't need a gun to kill you, so...
It's just longer range, so. I mean, I guess they haven't explained whether or not he has rocket punch yet, but
Yeah, well, you
No,
know,
I don't think he has rocket.
when you're trying to
That'd
work
be
out
amazing, though.
security for your gun shop, you don't necessarily plan for, invincible cyborgs from the future.
big wheelies.
I wish I could say that was an 80s thing, but
Optimus, no.
The hell with Terminator.
That's how you know he's a real asshole.
who leaves their toy trucks out in the street?
80s
No,
kids.
kids do that a lot. Like, if
5-year-olds.
you're... Especially if it's, like, a quiet neighborhood, kids will leave their shit on the street all the time.
Okay. Signs that your child probably is going to grow up to be a bit of an idiot.
A better idiot than serial killer.
Why is he taking the time to knock on the door and just go in?
Well, I don't think he wants to cause too much of a scene after he already killed the gangster and killed the shop clerk.
Yeah, also, that's a good way to... It's a good way to make sure that she's like, there, and also to, like, get her there. Because, like, you want to... Oh, dude, that's a little excessive. But, like, if you want her to come to you, it's a lot easier than having to, like, run from her. Because she doesn't know he's trying to kill her.
And what's happening now is that Arnold, with the T-800, is hunting down every single person in the city named Sarah Connor because he doesn't know
Which one it is?
which one is the right one.
But thankfully, there's only 3 of them, so he's already a third of the way there.
yeah.
You're
And I'm pretty sure the shop clerk's maiden name was Sarah Connor. So
gonna love this, Sarah. People named after you are going to die.
Yeah, this is...
Although, just looking at it from the perspective of the robots in the future, wouldn't it be easier and more efficient just to send a nuke back in time and just blow up the city entirely?
look, there are a lot of things we can talk
wouldn't
about how
that-
time travel is not handled appropriately in this series. Can't we just save ourselves the headache?
Yeah, because
Okay,
if you
fair
think
enough.
about it, if you nuke LA, wouldn't that potentially also stop the robots from coming into power at that point? Because, like,
true.
what if people important to the development of Skynet eventually...
I guess the biggest one is why don't they just send a Terminator to Sarah when she was like an infant or some other shit, or
Well,
you know how it all works.
as I understand it, like, they sent Kyle Reese in directly after the Terminator.
Yeah.
So, essentially, there shouldn't have been anything to stop this plan from happening.
Yeah, but,
But-
okay, so I know that Kyle Reese ends up being Sarah Connor's dad. No, not Sarah Connor's dad. John Connor's...
John Connor's dead.
Yeah, Kyle Reese ends up being John Connor's dad. So, like, does that mean that John Connor shouldn't exist before Kyle Reese went back in time?
Can we not?
That's what happens when you involve time travel.
Let's just put it this way: Sonic 06 might actually be one of the instances that makes the most sense. So,
Man, every video game that was based around the Terminator at this time, and I blame this movie coming out way too soon for a good Terminator video game to be made for this trend, but like every goddamn Terminator video game based on this movie try to do something with the future instead of
Well, it makes the most sense, but
yeah, it's just survival horror wasn't really a thing at this point, so
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
one
If you really want
that could be
Cookie
interest-
Mama with Sarah Connor in the diner, we already had that.
Yep.
It was called Back to the Future.
like
that could be interesting though if we did like an Alien Isolation version of the Terminator franchise.
where it's like where you're trying to avoid the Terminator altogether.
Yeah, it's because it's an unstoppable killing machine.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, like when you're thinking about it, like the NES era is not a good time to make a video game based off of this, because like the whole point of the Terminator is that you can't kill it. So what are you gonna do with like a Mega Man styled game based off the Terminator? Like it won't really work.
Well, I mean, you can kill a Terminator. It's just really hard to do.
Yeah, but like the whole point of the movie is that it's like practically impossible. So it just doesn't really fit with an NES style,
yeah.
Right.
Although I would like to see Arnold running and jumping like Mega Man in the same poses.
For the Terminator 2 video games.
Base, why are
fair
we
bit
fighting?
easier.
We are not enemies.
Sadly, that would be more understandable than his actual voice actor in that game.
Yeah, the Terminator 2 video games had it a fair bit easier because they were games about playing as Arnold,
Yeah, the Super Nintendo one I think is pretty good.
I know that the Sega CD
The only
one's
one I've ever
considered
heard
okay.
of any sort of regard is the arcade shooter.
I think the Super Nintendo might be based off the arcade shooter.
Yeah, you might as well just praise the arcade game then.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you're going to be playing that with the Super Scope. Because, like...
You could, if you wanted to.
Yeah, but why?
Oh, I don't... Just say you did.
Yeah, look at all that 80s lighting.
Oh, one little detail I like there.
Mixtape players!
One detail I like there is that Kyle Reese was, like, going in and out of the lines because he wouldn't know how to drive well. Because he's from the future.
There are no lines.
Okay, where's all the... Oh, wait, they do have, like, 5 bottles of hairspray on the counter. Okay. That actually...
And a shitload of electronics near a sink.
That is dangerous.
Discount Jetsons. Ding.
Yeah, no. Like bootleg Jetsons. Someone contact that Twitter account because we got George Jetson with black hair.
No,
Man.
it looks like Fred Flintstone version of George Jetson.
Yeah, you're right.
It has the muzzle and everything.
Man, I still remember that there was a time when people would like have their radio perched right on the edge of the bathtub and stuff. Ugh. Oh, right. And since this was an age before text messages,
You had to actually call everyone.
yeah, but since this was an age before text messages, if you were in a relationship with someone and you wanted to have that kind of phone call,
And then her dad picks up.
it had to be an actual phone call. Oh man.
Okay, so this cop's gonna die.
Well, he's the only black guy in the movie we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's a horror film. He's the one black guy we've seen, and he's a cop. That's like
He also looks like he's like 4 days from retirement too.
that's
so.
that's like 5 warning flags, since 2 of those count twice.
No, wait, hold on. The one of the cops that tried to apprehend Kyle Reese, the one that he held up in the alleyway, I think was black. So this guy's okay.
Yeah, but then again, the mayor's been on his ass about this case. It's a re-election year.
Oh man. Wait, why has the mayor been on his ass about this case?
We're just making fun of all the cliches.
Oh, right.
80s hair.
Oh man,
God.
you've went to like maximum 80s there, girl.
Have you ever thought about cosplaying as a dandelion?
Just
Are you
striking
joining a
hair
are you joining a hair band?
I don't know if bands other than hair bands existed in the 80s.
Now, is this an actual apartment, or because
I think Sarah's at 80s hair girl's place.
I'm
is the
getting
thing.
I'm getting like hotel room vibes from the way this place is laid out. Maybe
Why
that's
does
just,
she have a pet lizard?
It's
That's
an iguana.
an iguana is a lizard. Ryan.
Actually,
I know.
now that I think about it, early 90s, I think pet lizards were sort of a cool thing in a weird way. Like,
Well, in the non-traditional pet way, yeah.
yeah, people did go in for pet lizards when they weren't going for something simple like a cat or a dog.
Lizards, turtles.
Well, no,
Snakes.
a turtle I get because it's super low maintenance. Like, you could feed a turtle once a week and it'd probably be fine.
Well,
My cousin had a snapping turtle.
a lizard isn't going to be high maintenance, really. I mean, you feed it, you take care of it, and mostly it just sits around.
And you just had the
Cold-blooded.
lamp on here.
Whoa. Man, that awkward.
Okay, he's
moment when
gonna
Renee
die
has
too.
a-
Okay.
Well, obviously, but
Well, yeah, he's the boyfriend in a horror movie. He's the best friend's boyfriend in a horror movie. That's like Six Flags all at once.
Oh
can build a
boy, the
theme
new
park of
Terminator.
death with
The new Terminator. Ride.
I'm sure there is a Terminator ride somewhere.
I think that might be at Universal though, instead of Six Flags.
Oh God, parking garage at night. This is
Oh
like-
man, gotta go on my moped.
If it's not a Terminator scene, it could be something from Batman.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Unfortunately for Sarah, it's Terminator.
So it turns out that Kyle Reese was the Terminator the entire time.
Wouldn't that be a great twist?
Don't give them any ideas. Oh wait.
It would be better than Terminator Genesis Wise. Genesis.
Genesis.
Do we tell him, John?
No, don't tell him.
Well, what happened in Terminator? What happens to Terminator Genesis Wise?
Shut up, Mark.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Wasn't
We
that
don't
the
we don't
movie
talk
where-
about genocide.
Wasn't that the movie where they rewrote the timeline where the first Terminator happened?
They probably
Are we talking just Genesis entirely? Because
like there's Terminator T2, T3, Judgment Day. No, Judgment Day is T2. There's Genesis. There's the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show, which I actually hear is okay.
T1, T2, T3, Salvation, Genesis.
Okay. There's also the only thing other than the first two movies that I hear is even decent is the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV
but like
show.
Chronicles, the TV show.
I heard like one of the newer movies rewrote the Sarah Connor and
was
Kyle Reese
Genesis.
story.
Yeah, that was Genesis.
That's what I was asking. I mean, like I heard it through a really stupid argument, like, oh, they tried to make Sarah Connor the protagonist when it should be Kyle Reese. No, Sarah Connor was always the protagonist. They just wrote a bad story. Shut up. But like the whole set. You know what? I didn't even bother watching that one because the whole concept of going past, like actually doing a movie about the apocalypse, post-apocalypse, the war, just kind of seems like, okay, now you're reaching for.
80s TV grain.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So, are you talking about the mere existence of Salvation, the one set in the war?
Salvation just kind of seemed like a soulless thing to me. Like there was nothing.
Well, it was. It was full of
There
robots.
was like nothing of real worth there. But like the idea of going past Terminator 2 and having movies about the war that was supposedly averted in Terminator 2 just really does nothing for me.
Yeah, which is why I tend to ignore everything after T2.
Yeah.
Which is why most people tend to ignore everything after T2.
It's like
Because to me, T1 and T2 are just perfect companions.
they're
of film.
they're
I mean,
complete.
T2.
They're a complete story, and the only
Yeah.
way to continue that story was literally to undo the ending of that story. And now
Or
they've gone a
just
step
stop.
beyond and are undoing the beginning of that story too.
Well, if you need to
Bitch,
keep
can't you
making
see the
movies-
paper on it? It says out of order. No one
you
would
say
put a piece
that-
of
you
paper
say
there if it
that,
wasn't
Ted.
out of order. Sorry, go on.
You say that, Ted, but the time gap between T2 and T3 was over a decade.
Wait, well, the time gap between T1 and T2 was like at least 5-6 years as well.
Yeah, but I don't think at that point they considered Terminator to be
A
a
franchise.
cash cow franchise. You know what I mean? Because the most they ever did, to my knowledge, after Terminator 2 was the Universal attraction. and video games. That's about it.
I think it's more that it's just Arnold Schwarzenegger's most iconic role. I don't know how big he was around the time.
This is what made him big, more or less.
You know, Kyle, this would have been so much simpler if, well, you, instead of acting like a stalker, maybe talk to her.
No, well then if he like said, "Hey, I'm from the future," she'd think he's nuts.
Well, no, but
Because he just informed her of the killings about Sarah Connor, so now she would be more likely to believe him.
Yeah, but you see, yeah, this is the problem. The problem is that the first hurdle to saving Sarah Connor turns out to be Sarah Connor's scared shitless of you. And,
All the 80s in all the places.
could have avoided that. You know, steal an undershirt, hide the gun.
Look
somewhere.
at all this 80s.
Man, 80s clubs are lame.
She paid to get into a club
Just to use
to
the
use
phone.
the phone.
Well, no one has cell phones. This is 1984, so.
That and she really feels like she just needs to get away.
Also, tech.
How the hell does
Yeah.
911 run out of lines? Like,
Well, you only have so many lines available.
Because everyone else in the city named Sarah Connor is freaking their shit out.
there's only one
all
left.
Well, maybe it was International Prank Call Night. Yeah, there's probably a holiday for that. I mean, there is an International Vor Day.
This motherfucker's wearing Red Sox.
Who wears socks while having sex?
Who wears Red Sox? Period.
Soccer
Must be from
players.
Boston. Must be from Boston.
I thought this was California.
I said he's from Boston, not in Boston.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Well, I
he
can't
certainly was
judge.
smug enough to
I,
be from Boston. So
I can't judge. I wear Harley Quinn socks, so yeah.
oh man,
Okay, then.
when you've just had a hot night of sex, what you really need is milk, spam,
A sandwich. He's making a sandwich.
Wow. Okay, her cravings are weird.
Fake out.
Hey, credit the Terminator. It's usually a cat. It's like, isn't that usually? Remember that scene where the iguana gave you the jump scare? That's not a sentence I ever thought I'd hear.
Why is he going after the guy?
He's in the way.
No, he's not. He's not even in the correct room. He's the only
Wouldn't he
one
have
in the
had to
bedroom.
pass her in order to get into this guy's room anyway?
Arnold and a guy in spandex are going at it. Oh my.
Leave no witnesses.
Now, you see, the Terminator isn't actually in her apartment right now. This is just her daydream while she's making a sandwich.
How high are her headphones?
Not high enough.
Oh, dear. That's unfortunate.
Ooh, what you say? That you only meant well.
That
oh,
song's 10 years old.
no. Yep.
Oh my.
Oh, well.
I need to
that-
get my Walkman.
Although just looking at, I know well, I don't want to say we're still early in the film, but based on everything that's gone on in this movie, this is probably the easiest paycheck Arnold's ever gotten because he never has to do anything in this movie than move.
He rarely talks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like he was literally cast because he looks the type. Because at this point, Arnold only had, I think,
Hercules
Conan the Barbarian
and Hercules.
and Hercules.
Which-
Hercules and well, I mean, I don't think Hercules and New York will get him the role. I think Conan the Barbarian also had some part because that was 1982. It was 2 years
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
The other funny thing, the funny thing about the casting for this movie is that they originally wanted to get OJ as a Terminator. This was
O.J.
before
Simpson?
his whole. Yeah, this was before his
Yeah,
whole.
O.J.
This
Simpson.
was
Oh,
before his
yeah,
whole.
that makes me feel old.
brouhaha. But
that was still going on when I was a kid. But
yeah,
you
but
know,
that was before his whole killing his wife thing. So they wanted to cast OJ because he was intimidating. But it's like, oh no, OJ's too nice a guy. No one would ever believe that.
but
Hindsight's
you
20/20.
know, little detail that I quite like about the scene. When the phone rings and startles the Terminator, his laser sight focuses in right on the phone, which is the kind of thing no human would actually manage to pull off.
There's something you're not telling us, Artie.
God forbid the iguana crawled by.
It's just like it's the one time in the movie where that super cyborg precision that makes this guy so feared is really shown. Not him actually shooting anything that matters, but him managing to split-second target a telephone before registering in his mind that it's a telephone. Hey, she actually managed to get a hold of the cops.
How did you get over here so fast, Arnie?
That's a good
Because
question.
he's
Oh, wait,
also
presumably this
villain
was
of a horror movie.
within walking distance of her apartment, rather.
Also, wouldn't he have had to pass Kyle in order to get in here as well?
I like how...
Well, Kyle doesn't know what the Terminator looks like.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
you're right, because they're only just
Yeah.
the robots in the future.
In the future.
I like how, in the space of time between Sarah picking up the phone to get a hold of the cops and actually getting a hold of the cops, the Terminator had time to kill a roommate's boyfriend, kill a roommate, and then,
Walk
go
over.
downstairs, take the elevator down, whatever, get down to ground floor, and then walk all the way over here.
Remember, he's essentially the horror villain, the Jason, the Michael Myers, and they always teleport, or at least wear rollerblades when we're not looking at them.
Yeah, but taking at face value, that basically means that, 911 in 84 was shit.
You mean they're not now?
Well, I'm pretty sure if you call 911 now, you're going to get a hold of someone pretty quickly.
I'll tell you one thing. Arnold
I love these dancing people.
Arnold rarely speaks a line in this movie, but the one thing that always did intimidate me as a kid was his occasional wide-eye moments, like when he recognizes the target and he gets all wide-eye. It scared the shit out of me as a kid.
I think Arnold speaks so little in the second movie, he made like $84,000 per word or something based on his paycheck for it.
In this,
He's like, listen, we don't have a lot of money, so don't speak unless spoken to.
And that is a damn big sight laser.
Okay, this is dangerous. And, I realize
the shotgun
the
shotgun pellets probably would have hit other people.
Yeah,
I don't think Kyle Reese cares.
Well, yeah, I realize he's trying to save the future, but this is not going to look good on him when the cops get him. Spoiler alert. Of course.
No, I think at this point, Kyle Reese's mission was just to ensure the safety of Sarah Connor from this Terminator, and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe he was meant to die.
But you want to know the thing about that little firefight exchange that gets me? Okay, the Terminator hits the bystanders. Kyle Reese, who really should have hit the bystanders, doesn't, because he's the good guy, Can't show the good guy in a 1984 film gunning down civilians. That would be bad.
Well, this was rated R, so I don't see why they couldn't, but...
Well, I don't know. I guess I didn't want to
Well,
go into that morality question right now.
Films sort of gradually climbed away from having to tiptoe around those sort of ethical boundaries. So,
Dude, that's a double-barrel shotgun. You couldn't shoot it 5 times like that.
yeah, that's also a problem.
He's just that damn good.
Now, maybe he's not the only one with Arnold powers. Like, if Arnold doesn't have to reload, maybe he doesn't either.
Yeah, this was also a time when movies were
But-
allowed to ignore details like that.
But neither of them are wearing bandanas.
That was my favorite part of the movie where James Cameron's cat goes absolutely nuts with the synthesizer.
Yeah, this
On a
does
serious note,
sound
though,
like
I do
my brother
I do-
playing with his Casio keyboard.
Yeah, but and not for nothing, I do like the track. I do like the score.
Oh, God.
There, so.
Man,
80s computer graphics.
this is supposed to be a precision killing machine. It doesn't look like it could see anything. Was that? Is that Stormtrooper vision? That's got to be Stormtrooper vision.
No, Stormtrooper can see even less than that.
He did take like 7 to 8 like shotgun shells, so maybe his like vision got all scrambled. And he's looking for a phone again.
Let's say at least Arnold hits something. Stormtroopers just don't hit anything.
Hey, Arnold the perv, leave her dress alone, okay?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I watched the first Terminator movie. I forgot how goddamn scary the Terminator chase sequences are.
Yeah, because I mean, again, just to really reiterate, this Terminator did not start as a sci-fi action series. It was straight up horror.
Yeah.
only instead of a mass killer, it was a fucking death robot from the future.
Well, it's not like going from horror to action is inherently a bad thing. I mean,
No, it's not. Again, look at Aliens.
Yeah, the Alien franchise. Ironically, when James Cameron took over the sequel, right? Is that what you were saying earlier on in the?
Yeah. It was Ridley Scott directed the first one, where it was just straight up horror, and then James Cameron directed the second one, which was more sci-fi action.
Yeah.
I believe Joss Whedon wrote the script for either the third or fourth movie.
He wrote Resurrection.
Yeah. Okay.
So Josh Whedon's not completely infallible in nerds.
I believe his full cut was actually considered to be a lot better than the version that got into theaters, but that's
from what I
different
understand,
topic.
the third movie went through a number of production problems.
I don't like the third movie. But, that's just a discussion for another day.
Yeah, it's kind of a bland movie. I mean, it's got its redeeming qualities. It's by far,
It's the least offensive of the bad ones, but it's still bad.
Yeah, it's
Remember, kids, if you stay on the sidewalk, cars won't hit you.
Well, depends. Is this Grand Theft Auto where a fire hydrant stops me dead in my tracks, but I can plow through grates like no problem?
The third Alien movie would have just sort of gone down as a sort of semi-average, decent, lackluster sequel, but it also began on a really shitty note. That shitty note being everyone you cared about in the second movie died off screen.
Which is why I don't like it. No movie. You don't get to make me feel like shit in the beginning. Fuck
The
you.
only good thing that really came out of Alien 3 was probably the Alien 3 video game on the Super Nintendo. I think the Super Nintendo was the good one, where it was basically an Alien 2 video game, except on the planet that Alien 3 takes place on. Yeah. So, it was an Alien Metroidvania, which is meta as shit. But,
So it's very interesting that they only start dumping the exposition on you right now. They go a decent amount of time without needing to explain. This is a robot. I'm from the future. This is this.
He's not as. You keep using your terminology wrong. He's not a cyborg. He's an android. And Dragon Ball, they're cyborgs, not androids.
Yeah, I mean, there's two things happening here. One, we're learning about more of the Terminator itself, while also in the middle of an action scene. Normally it's one or the other, not mixed together, so it saves time.
Yeah. This is well, it's less about saving time, really. The problem with exposition in movies is that exposition tends to grind things to a halt. What a really good, movie writer or director will try to do is try to, get that exposition some screen action to complement it, keep your attention going, so that it's not just two people standing in a room talking.
Or you can show, don't tell, and make sure what you're showing is comprehensible.
Well, when
I really want to insert the Blues Brothers track right now during this whole sequence.
when it comes down to it, I feel the words show, don't tell are somewhat slightly misunderstood, because some people seem to think that means don't tell anything, which is not.
The dialogue is very important no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, dialogue is important, but when it's in a movie, you kind of want to avoid situations where the movie stops and it becomes an audiobook. And that's not to say, people standing in rooms talking to each other is inherently a bad thing. It's just something that whenever
Dark Knight, anyone?
Whenever you get to that point in the script where people are just talking to each other, you want to say you want to ask yourself, okay, does this need to be how this plays out, or can I do something more interesting with it?
From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Wait, what? In the future.
Okay.
Oh!
This is going poorly. Let me put it this way, okay? You might not believe my story, but you were just being attacked by a man
Who just took 7 shotgun bullets to the chest and face and got up.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, yeah. This was not going to go well.
So the scar on his face, that's makeup, right?
Yeah.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay, because that's like one thing that I do like is that like I noticed this when he came in at the beginning too, is that like they showed like this guy got shot a bunch because he's from a future war with lasers.
Yeah, it's the kind of burn scar that you get in a sci-fi video game with character creation, really.
Oh, they do makeup to make it look like Arnold's skin is falling off too, right? Because you can already sort of
more like
notice that.
his eyebrows were singed off in the gunfight.
Well, like
Time to go even further beyond.
but also like his right eye is kind of like the right side of his face.
It'll get just wait till later.
Yeah, but it's good that it's good that you're noticing detail like that, Ted, because it's totally intentional.
Cool, man. I feel like a smart
Cameron,
person.
if nothing else, is a massive attention to detail person. Whether or not that's better for the movie at times, we'll have to see. But
man, all of these '80s people leave their keys in their cars. Wow.
no, he's hot wiring it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because you
we
get
saw him hot wiring
get
the car
yeah,
earlier, so this has been established.
yes.
Which is better than let the keys in the dashboard
or in the visor or something.
Well, you know,
or in the visor.
he comes, logically speaking, he comes from a future where everything, including the vehicles, are probably robots. So, in order to steal a vehicle in any kind of military assault, he would have to hotwire it and probably reprogram it too.
Well, this was back in the '80s where you could do that. I don't think you could really hotwire cars anymore.
At least not nearly as easily.
Yeah.
Well, there are ways to steal cars, I imagine, but, you know, manufacturers, over the years, they learn those ways and then they build around them rather than, you know, continuing to perpetuate the easily exploited problems.
He's actually reloading.
But of course, you know, there are still cars from the 80s and the 90s floating around.
It doesn't take that much ammo, Kyle.
I don't know. It might be custom.
We did see him like sawing off parts, so.
Well, I don't know how it'd be custom if it's standard police grade, but
I love like one of the things cool about renting or watching movies from Amazon is that they give you general trivia, as I mentioned before, and this one really captivates. So, see, the original treatment by James Cameron included the detail that the Terminator needed to eat periodically in order for his human flesh to survive, because he is surrounded in human flesh.
Yeah, they mentioned that because the old flesh they had didn't look right.
It was made of rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they actually incorporate human flesh. So originally there was a detail where the Terminator had to eat, and there was a shot that they were planning where he ate chocolate, you know, just to sustain his life. But apparently it didn't sit well with focus groups.
well, it would be kind of ridiculous.
It doesn't really.
You just imagine like fucking Terminator eating a Snickers bar, and they make that a commercial like years later.
Arnold, you eat a Snickers. Arnold, you're not new when you're hungry. Better.
Then he kills everybody anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'd love that commercial. I'm surprised they haven't done it already.
Did they at any point bring that back in Terminator 2? Because that would have been the time to do it. You know, make it a T-1000 John Connor banter moment.
I don't get why the robots would have needed to keep humans alive if they could just make robots to do those jobs.
I don't think they were trying to keep humans alive.
They just said that they kept some alive to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Maybe it's like pre-Matrix. Use them as batteries.
That's the stupidest plan. Like, I mean, The Matrix is.
Oh, it is. I agree.
Everyone thinks it's stupid.
It's a good movie, but like
At that point, just start a potato farm.
I love potatoes.
But the entire thing about the Matrix started with the reality is a lie concept, and then worked out from there conceptually. So I understand why they went with the story that they went with.
I get irony. The sign says to care and protect, but he's trying to kill him. Ah!
There goes the Casio again.
That kind of ironic camera presentation can enhance the horror of a moment, though. Man.
So, in later Terminator stuff, do the Terminators, like, have guns built into them and things like that? I know that in T3, like, they turn into, like, metal and things.
Yeah, T3 was the first where they ever really did something with that. I mean, T2, the T1000 had liquid metal, so you could make sharp protrusions like blades and knives. But weaponry, like long-range weaponry, no. Not until T3 they started doing something.
No, isn't
like
the regular Terminator the T1000 and the other Terminators?
No, this is a T800. No, this is a T800.
Oh, the T800.
Yeah,
Okay.
Arnold's model is the T800.
Okay, I got that wrong a few minutes ago then. Now I'm imagining that John Connor having banter with the liquid monstrosity trying to kill him. Oh, man.
You know, I bet you, like, half of the budget for this movie was just all the cars they had to smash up.
Quite
Which
possibly.
is still nothing compared to Blues Brothers.
Oh, those poor malls of Chicago.
Which I think still has the record for on-screen pileup.
I think so.
Of cars for
Mostly
Blues Brothers,
because of the mall, but yeah.
Yeah.
And the Illinois Nazis.
And the yeah.
Illinois Nazis.
Girl, you know how to drive, turd.
Man. Well, that
It's okay.
could've-
Batman will get us out of here.
5 stars, 5 stars, go, go, go.
Matt, you know, it just occurred to me the police in this movie are actually pretty effectual, which is unusual for the police in a movie.
Well, at least they're trying.
I guess it's because it's a horror movie and not an action movie, I guess.
Yeah. Like everything here is just following proper procedure. It's just that unfortunately they're dealing with the death robot. They have no chance of doing anything about.
Like, I mean, they're doing everything the way that they should. Like, they're checking out the
Yeah.
scene. They've got guns on the suspect.
Shit, the Phantom Driver strikes again.
Here's your $200 fine. Now get out of here.
No, I mean, like, the police in this movie, they do actually really well up until the point where they actually have to fight a killer robot. Because, you know, they don't bring that up at Police Academy, so not doing so well in that situation makes sense.
When you said a Police Academy, I immediately thought of the parody film.
But, like immediately after the Terminator zaps into the present day and kills someone, you got a bunch of police out in force looking for weird naked guys out at night and, you know, almost managing to catch the guy. And, you know, they're all over the place up until this point in the movie. This point in the movie is the point in the movie where they just sort of disappear, though, because, well, they dead.
Wait, so Arnold got out?
Yeah.
Yeah, he...
Now why
escaped.
Arnold bothered to raise the window instead of punching it in like he did in like the other 3 windows he's done so far? But
Initiating stealth mode. Only break 3 windows.
He snuck away from a bunch of cops just now, so he's obviously trying to sneak around. Now I imagine it's because his face has been messed up, so his cover is compromised, so he probably needs to deal with that because his first priority becomes dealing with the injuries to his fleshy bits and then getting a pair of sunglasses so that he can cover up his face. And then he resumes the hunt. The way his actions proceed in this movie, my thought was always that he has a set of programming priorities and one of them won't let him proceed as an obvious robotic killing machine in this time period until he's gotten to a point where he just can't repair himself and has no choice but to go along with it.
Yeah, because you can't kill Sarah Connor if you're not working. That makes sense. Also,
Well,
I am not a
of-
fan. This is
yeah. It's the logical conclusion of the special effect that they used at the end of The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah,
But-
I was gonna say I learned this one from Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, but the issue with it is like he's programmed to be a stealth robot disguised as a human. So whenever his disguise is compromised, his priorities shift away from completing his
Which
mission.
honestly, I think they got the stealth bit more correct in the second movie because he decided to go stealth as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's actually kind of a funny trick. Where they used the same robot design that tried to kill John Connor's mother in the first place, except now it's protecting him. That was a nice little twist. I liked that in the second movie. When they brought it back in the third movie, it wasn't quite as amusing.
It's like, wow, it's like, look at that guy over there. The guy looks like he's a fucking robot. You want to see something cool?
Now, why this guy thinks telling this story in interrogation is going to do him any good, I'm not sure. Because, he could have just played it smooth and pretended he was protecting Sarah Connor from a random gunman.
This guy's a terrible psychologist, for the record. You have to sound like you at least somewhat believe what he's talking about.
Well, right now he just cares about publishing a book.
Oh, did they mention that?
That's his end game. Is more like he's
basically trying to pull a Harley Quinn.
Oh, okay. All right. So he's supposed to be a terrible psychologist. Got it. Cool.
Well, total scumbag anyway.
Yeah, and using insane people just to make himself famous.
Yeah.
Now, I was allowed to watch this scene, but I wasn't allowed to watch the sex scene later on.
No.
When I was 8, I was allowed to watch this scene.
Ew, Arnold, what's wrong with your face?
Hold on, taking care of it now.
So he's cutting out the fleshy bits because if the eye's not good anyway, he might as well just use his robot eye. Is it?
Well, the eye's fucked up, and he can't go out looking like that.
He can't go
okay.
out looking like that, and it's probably fucking with his vision too.
Yeah.
So
it's better to just get rid of it entirely.
yeah. His face actually looks like it's made of rubber here, which I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it's a
prosthetic.
Yeah,
it's animatronic.
looks like a PS1 cutscene.
So basically, in the production of this movie, they cast a guy who looks and acts like a killer robot, and then they made an actual killer robot that looks
Killer
like that
robot.
guy.
Right.
And now we're back to Arnie.
Yeah, now we're back to Arnold. Pretty much, we just had a PS1 versus PS2 argument right there.
Oh, they left in the in-game models by accident. Okay.
These real-time cutscenes are getting out of hand.
Now, presumably, this apartment was established by the T-800 earlier on between scenes off camera as his hideout because he had extra guns underneath the bed.
That's all he could afford.
So he's not only a killer robot from the future, he's a squatter. It would be funny if another homeless guy just snuck into the same apartment, found all the guns there while he was out, and took them. And he never found out what happened.
For the record, though, like, Reese does actually sound like what a person with a delusion would sound like, where there's always an excuse for everything. Like, they come up with a bunch of things to justify the delusion, so...
The brain fills in all the blanks, The scary thing about that is because what the brain is trying to do is make the story seem believable by making it thorough, it's really difficult for anyone to tell what a delusion is compared to what a real story is, unless they have facts outside of it that contradict the story. Man, Kyle Reese, didn't they coach you for this situation? It is not something that should have been unexpected.
And then
Or at least for Dr. Peter Silverman specifically.
And then the lights go out and then flick back on and Batman's there.
Yeah.
Where is she?
They already knew that part happened, too, so they're just bad at this.
Yeah, okay. I take back everything that I said before. The beat cops, the The police officers that were out in force on the street, they're okay. It's the people behind the desk that suck.
Well, except for that guy, but he's totally dead.
He's like, here, complimentary bulletproof vest. Oh, what if they shoot me in the head? It is probably what a, killer robot known for its precision would try to do.
So did Sarah tell him about the guy that was actually shooting at her?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then right now they're just trying to
Explain why he survived.
explain why he could survive. He could be wearing a bulletproof vest.
He could be on
Maybe high
drugs.
on drugs. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Of course, that falls into
Killer.
into the trope of, people in movies and stories trying to explain away the unusual bullshit
Fools.
going around.
They have no idea that I am a death robot
From the future.
that wears a body vest and it does a lot of PCP.
From the future, no less.
From the future.
Here comes the line.
You sound
yeah.
incredibly unbelievable, dude.
You sound
Here it comes.
You sound like the killer robot that our delusional, suspect was describing about 5 minutes ago.
He didn't
You
mention
don't
shade,
say.
so you're good. He didn't mention shade, so I guess
I'll
you're
be
good.
back. There's your line. Paycheck.
And now I'm leaving. Thank you.
This scene does come off as one of the movie's more comical scenes.
Yeah.
Which I imagine was by design.
Well, you need a bit of levity, but
You can work some comic relief even into the horror moments.
great. Now you've made a huge mess, Arnie. How are you supposed to get through that?
I imagine him just spending 5 minutes trying to wade through the rubble.
You're going to have to go through a lot of Japanese commercials to get yourself out of this one, Arnold.
Why didn't Skynet send back like 5 Terminators?
Man, what a badass. Dual-wielding weapons that should take 2 hands to fire. That's how you know he's a robot.
Or Ike.
Yeah.
To answer your question, though, Ted, I believe Skynet was on the verge of losing the war.
Yeah, and
And they only had enough-
Arnie here was only the first one they made, so they just had to send him
Yeah.
right from the get-go.
They only had enough time to send him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's okay. Never mind. Again, if you try to ask too many questions, time travel just doesn't work.
So, did the cop guy leave her behind? On
I
purpose,
think he's-
Or...
I don't know. He probably just thought she was.
Well, right
safe.
now they don't. Yeah, just stay out of sight.
Yeah, they don't know.
Honestly.
They don't know what's going on.
This is awfully brightly lit, darked out room.
And, it's LA. Like, there's probably so many lights outside that you could see no matter what. Hello, Nike. You paid a lot for that sponsorship, didn't you?
Alright.
Let's stand right in front of the door.
Of course, since this guy is a, methodical robot, he's going to go through every room, whether it looks like there's anyone inside or not. In which case, the safest place to hide would probably be somewhere where he's already been. Now that
What
I
chance
think
do you
about
think you have?
What gets me about this sequence is that nobody's really hit this guy yet.
Well, no, the guy just did. Just did there.
Yeah, but nobody who's actually shot him has lived. So
There we go. There's our black guy stereotype.
no, he's not dead yet.
Yet.
That guy's dead.
Now, shooting the Uzi and the shotgun at the same time overkill much?
What makes this unsettling is that, a human in this situation would be, crazy mad, crazy scared, just crazy something, whereas Arnold is just sort of swiveling around like a mechanical turret the entire time.
Are you still there?
No. Okay.
Okay.
If you keep shouting my name, he's going to know I'm in this room, you idiot.
You hear that, Sarah? It's time to go.
No, what she should do is maybe either die or just shave her head so he can't recognize her. You do not have the blonde, poofy hair. You are not
Yeah, I
Sarah
know.
Connor.
Does the Terminator immediately stop giving chase the moment you put a paper bag over Sarah's head?
Well, what if you put just had her hold a sign that says "Not Sarah Connor"? Would that work?
What gets me, what always confused me is how does the Terminator find Sarah Connor after this sequence?
Follow the
Horror
trail
movie
of
teleportation.
broken cars.
No, I think he masquerades as someone else.
It has been a while since the last time I saw this, but like, if they've driven away, like all he has is a name to go by. So
Well, he has
And
her
the blonde,
picture, too,
poofy
so
hair.
he'll know when he finds her. But
Which begs the question, why doesn't she just dye it or shave it?
well, her face is still the same.
But we just said he does smart by putting a bag over her head.
like they
To answer your question, Lewis, I believe in the middle of the motel scene, Sarah feels she needs to check up on a friend or family, calls the house, and it's the Terminator that picks up.
Oh right, yeah. I remember
Because
that
right
now.
now, I think he just goes back to
Sarah Connor's house.
people that she knows.
I remember this scene from Jurassic Park.
Bitch, you're in California. It's not that cold out.
Oh man, it's a chilly 56 degrees. I don't know if I can handle it.
You should try New York or Boston or anywhere north, really.
Yeah, even San Francisco probably. It might even hit 40 there on a really cold day.
How do they live?
You can tell it's fake shivering because the shivers are too abrupt. They're too pronounced.
Severe.
Yeah. I mean, you don't get shivers that big unless it's really, really, really cold out.
What if they did take him to the doctor and it was Arnold Schwarzenegger inside like a surgeon's gown?
Hi.
I see
doctor
you've
was
got
ruled
the
out.
gunshot wound there. The
didn't
cure is
realize.
Arnold's the surgeon and Joker's the nurse.
Yeah.
Is this where we have a speech about anarchy?
No.
He looks a lot like me.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Except he doesn't, because he's Harry Potter, but sure.
So does Sarah Connor survive the war, or
No, she
dies in the start of it, when it happens, when Judgment Day happens in the first place.
Well, in Terminator 2, she gets burned to death by a nuke. At least,
But that was the vision.
at least in the vision of the future, that's implied to be what happened.
Which is when
But,
Judgment Day happens.
In Terminator 3, if we're going to count that, which I wouldn't, she dies off screen, I think, between movies.
She dies from leukemia.
Yeah, and then she
Well,
leaves
her-
a shitload of guns in her grave.
Ultimately, her death is unimportant. It's just as long as she lives long enough to birth John Connor.
Yeah.
well, that's depressing.
Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it works.
It's depressing considering that she was a major player in both of the other two movies, is all. They tried to play her as some sort of heroic figure without having her directly in the movie, but I think that might have been because the actress didn't want any part of it.
Well, I was looking up her Linda Hamilton's IMDb. She hasn't done too much that was that interesting, but she actually did reprise her role as Sarah Connor in Terminator 2 3D Battle Across Time. The
Universal Studios attraction.
so she actually did
She reprised the role along with the kid who played John Connor, and
5 years later too.
yeah.
But yeah, she doesn't. She played a character on Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. What?
What?
Yeah,
The TV series?
yeah. She also had a voice role in Terminator Salvation, apparently.
Yeah, the tape recorder.
Yeah, but I'm looking at everything else she's done. Like, she's had a couple of TV roles, but not anything that, like, super major, I guess.
Yeah, like that's what I was saying earlier. Terminator is really all I know Linda Hamilton for.
Yeah, she's...
But I mean, like, what a performance.
Oh, hold the phone. She married James Cameron. What? She was married to James Cameron for 2 years.
Huh.
Okay. I guess if you wanted to formalize banging the director, but
Well, it was after T2 came out, because it was 97 to 99.
okay.
Yeah.
That's weird.
All
that
right
kind of
then.
stuff happens.
It does happen.
happens.
It's just...
I'd imagine, especially if James Cameron's into into a strong, independent woman, then yeah, T2 would make me want to marry you too, because she's amazing in T2.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched Terminator 2. Long while
Terminator 2
since
so
I watched
good.
Terminator 2. Nostalgia. My first exposure to Terminator 2 was in the Genesis.
Nice
games.
dissolve.
Man, that's like what you do in Adobe Premiere. You put in a cross dissolve and then you just stretch out the timing on it so that it's a really slow dissolve.
Oh, I love the reused plane. like the practical effects for the present day stuff's really good, but the future just looks kind of lame. I don't know.
You're being generous. It looks goddamn horrible.
Well, it's a horrible future.
I mean, okay, look at this. Look at this post-apocalyptic rubble stuff going on. There's no rhyme or reason to it at all. Now, the key to a good post-apocalyptic scene is to, paint a picture of what was there before it got blown to shit, Which is something even Bethesda knows how to do.
Well, maybe they do. They're showing what's there through the '80s stuff, and we were seeing.
No. I mean, like in the ruins themselves, you need to be able to look at it and get a sense of what it was before it was destroyed.
Meanwhile, across the country, God damn it, you blew it up. There's just two halves. The west half is the robots. The right half is the east half is the apes.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's harder to do this in a film than it is in a video game where you can actually explore said ruins. But the thing that gets your emotions going when you see a ruin is being able to tell what that ruin was before it was a ruin.
I think the only thing they ever really show us is the amount of human lives lost, because repeatedly they'll show shots of the vehicles traveling over human skulls.
And when it gets down into this sort of underground,
The Yule logs survived the post-apocalypse.
when it gets down to this bunker where it's all these people and you're seeing how desolate their lives are, this is
works.
really well presented. This is presented well.
It's the stuff above ground that looks.
Yeah.
Now, isn't this the Metal Gear Solid box art coming up with Kyle Reese here? Not Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear.
Well, I think the you're thinking of the promotional still.
Yeah, the Metal Gear
Yeah.
one.
I think that was always a promotional still, not necessarily a scene in the movie.
Gotcha.
Well, yeah, they would always
just-
have the actors posing in their costumes and stuff.
No, I know. I'm just poking fun at that. The Metal Gear 1 box art is blatantly just
Yeah.
Kyle Reese.
It was blatantly just Kyle Reese, yeah.
Yeah, Kyle Reese, even though the character was a ripoff of another actor from another movie.
So what does that make David Hayter then?
The T-1000.
Okay then.
One thing that is cool is that they have the Terminator look like a different person, because they're just designed to imitate people, not necessarily like a specific. Like, I think that's kind of underused in this franchise. Like, they just keep, like, we have to have Arnold because he's the Terminator, but like you could have other scary people be Terminators. Like,
This guy right here, though, that's the Terminator, is also of a similar body build, though, too, because like they always seem to want to mimic bodybuilders for some reason.
I guess it's just that at the time was like what a strong, scary person looked like.
I see you.
It's symbolic.
And we're back.
It's kind of something that was a bit more I guess you could say iconic of the war-torn soldier trope at the time that this movie came out was, them having this one image of a beautiful woman that they just sort of
And that bites you, and that 95% of the time bites you in the ass later.
Yeah,
Unless your name is Maze Hughes, and that it happens about 10 years after the war.
Yeah. Well, the idea being that they're so far away from living a normal life that is their link to their own humanity. Yeah, something as simple as wanting to have a woman by their side.
I don't know how to read.
Dear God.
Are you talking about the guy in the tank top or the sudden close-up of Arnold's prosthetics?
Yes.
Or what?
How do you do?
Yeah, good morning to you too. You see, you think that's an insult. It's just how they say good morning.
No, that's Philadelphia, not L.A. Interesting. When I put the sunglasses on, my face stops falling off.
Oh man, those big bulky
Was that
shades,
Asteroid?
too. Do you see anyone wearing those these days?
Well, no, the arcade machine when they were passing by the shop.
Not anymore.
Well, maybe it was either asteroid or missile defense. I can't remember what. Yeah.
Well, this is 84. So I'd imagine
Yeah.
Well, assuming this movie was probably filmed in the 83, say earliest, probably Asteroid.
Well, they were playing such hit titles as E.T. for the Atari 2600 and Custer's
It was arcade. They had Donkey Kong.
83.
Wait, wasn't 84 the year of the crash?
83.
No, that was 83.
83 was the year of the crash. Oh God.
Yeah, if the Terminator's going to come after you, that'll help.
Specifically, that was home console market. Arcades are still doing just fine.
Well, yeah, that was the video game crash was industry side. A lot of people in the consumer base didn't even know that there was a crash at the time. It was the industry that fell to pieces, not the sales of video games.
Yeah, because people probably could still go into a store and buy
they could definitely, because prices for video games went down to nothing at that time.
Yeah, so you could probably buy a bunch
Many of
of
them were good.
Atari games and have a great time. Hey, it's what you had at that point.
It's because it's
Someone dial that number and see if someone answers.
The crash. To really oversimplify, the crash happened because supply outstripped demand by leagues and miles. So,
In addition to basically there being no the reason why the Nintendo seal of quality was the thing was because there was no way to tell what was good.
yeah.
So the games on the Atari got a really bad reputation in general.
No, not just the Atari, but it wasn't just the Atari. There were a bunch of systems added.
Yeah, I know, but the Atari was the system, so.
It's just that there were no real standards, and because there were no real standards, everything suffered. Mothballs, ammonia. Wait, what?
Product placement.
Oh right, this is the part where Kyle Reese buys a bunch of junk to MacGyver some stuff to get.
And then if there were a modern day version of this, he'd go
Can
to
you
jail.
see all of me walk into my destiny?
Man, the
Does he have
Terminator.
built an iPod?
Man, the Terminator didn't use guns. It's so edgy and stupid. It was way better when the Terminator rolled up into a ball and just slammed things with his face.
I want to see that now.
I was gonna ask, does the Terminator have built an iPod in his head?
Gotta save me somehow.
So this motel sequence is kind of like the calm before the storm of the end game of the film. So
that's usually how they go, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, Kyle Reese would be arrested for trying to make meth if he brought all that stuff home nowadays, right? Probably.
I don't know what kind of meth you're gonna make with that, but
Also depends. That depends on if you're using cash and how many different stores you're going to get the individual stuff.
I mean, the concept of people making homemade explosives is goddamn terrifying, but that's more because of what they would do with it normally. If someone is making homemade explosives, either they're a really big-time explosives enthusiast and should probably get some help with that, but or they're
Like it's like I doubt like the ingredients that Kyle Reese is using in the film are what you actually use to make an explosive.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they wouldn't show that kind of stuff in a movie around this time.
No. Though I'll laugh at the guy who thought they could. It's like I saw this in Terminator once. Just need mothballs, corn syrup, and plastic.
Well,
what do you got? Nothing. You got a hot mess.
Considering there's ammonia in there, the idiot who tried to actually emulate that probably poisoned themselves.
Which is probably why they threw the ammonia in there.
He was watching Terminator and he was an idiot.
Fucking dumb.
Case closed.
See,
I love these.
See, guys, all it takes is the robot apocalypse to end sexism. Yay!
Ooh.
I don't know. We don't have personalities in the future. That's like my acting.
Now, to be fair, at this point, there's no real chemistry here, but that kind of works because both of them are scared shitless. If that makes sense. So this falls together.
Well, more so Sarah Connor than Kyle, because Kyle I don't think really ultimately cares as long as he lives.
Kyle is pretty much in a perpetual state of shell shock. So yeah.
I mean, you would be afraid because if you think about it, if he fails, everybody he knows and loves dies, pretty much. So
everybody he knows and loves is no longer exists, and that's a permanent state of being for him.
Yeah,
so
but
there's a healthy dose of existential crisis in here too.
Yeah. But Lewis is right.
Well, even then, that's also should he succeed the mission.
Yeah. So
because he's rewriting the future.
Yeah, but it's also like Lewis is right. Like if you're scared shitless, like one of your basic human instincts is gonna kick in, and that's basically like fucking make babies. So you guys wait. Hey, you in the mood for some suspense? Fucking.
Well, yeah. Sex is a major form of stress relief for people. It happens.
And I already masturbated like 8 times today. It's not working. Quick, give me the mothballs.
Why the mothballs?
I thought those were for the bombs. No.
You're looking for a bomb? Point yourself. I'm the bomb.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that they left the bombs out on the table specifically so that Kyle Reese could have his angry putting in bag scene here.
Why are you putting them in the bag so angrily?
Okay,
stop that. They're explosives.
Yeah, stop that. All right, bombs, brute force, they don't mix.
Listen, if I fuck you, will you stop?
Can't help it, I'm just so angry. These bombs are on fire.
My orgasm better be explosive enough to make up for the fact that I can't actually explode anything.
But yeah.
Are you trying to make out or eat her?
They didn't teach us this in the future. Okay.
Oh yeah, we were too busy fighting killer robots. Yeah. I might have missed health class and social studies and math.
I think he might actually be trying to eat her. Now that
well, he didn't bring home any food. He just bought mothballs and gourd syrup.
Now, sex scenes in movies were already had a dodgy reputation around this point. I think this was one of the few movies where it was a plot point.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a sexy remix of the Terminator theme.
Well, it's supposed to sound sad and tragic,
But every guy in the theater was just like, ooh, titties.
Yeah. But I give this movie a pass on the exploitative stuff that movies around the time were
and
doing.
I'll never turn back.
Well, it's already trying to be like it's trying to be very R-rated, so it doesn't feel out of place, you know.
Well, it's not about it being out of place. It's more about trends in the movie theater at the time. I mean, there's a reason that for a long time television was called the boob tube. You know, there have always been movies that did that just for the hell of it, out of obligation.
Why did they make my eyes a virtual boy?
But there are also movies like I would say Lady Snowblood, or I forget what the Japanese title is, but I think it translates to Delinquent Girl Boss, where there are exploitative elements, but they also use it thematically to give you a sense of characters and the world and how everyone fits together and all of that. But I mean, here it's just kind of a plot point, and that's its only real saving grace.
I like how they have
a very good scene.
I like how they have bumper stickers that said like "super off road" to establish that this car's tough enough to do the upcoming action scene.
Well, that was also
waking up, waking in.
that was also a car commercial thing at the time, because this is a pickup truck. And pickup trucks are going to sell themselves on how tough and hardy they are.
If you need to run away from a deadly killer robot, you need a truck that can get the job done. Ford.
Man,
I love the cheat they do here, though, because I think at times they'll show Arnold in the motorcycle, but they artificially speed up the footage to make it look like he's going faster than he actually is.
Tom Cruise syndrome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We have a better way of handling that these days. We call them stunt doubles.
Wouldn't the...
All right, Sarah, press the red button.
Oh yeah, I can see it. Yeah, like the footage gets a little choppy because it's sped up.
Oh, bad. You know what this reminds me of? That scene in the 7th Harry Potter movie.
No, this more reminds
when they're getting chased by a death robot.
This more reminds me of the scene in MIB.
It's actually in a circular tunnel, sort of like this. But, it's extra ridiculous in that movie because, they're wizards and they're supposed to be keeping hidden from the Muggle population. It doesn't happen that way in the book, by the way. The movie was just stupid.
Kyle, your aim sucks.
You think he'd be better at throwing grenades, considering he's like a soldier?
Well,
Or would do the smart thing to try and lay them on the ground to disable the bike instead of the Terminator.
It's kind of difficult to time a fuse so that it explodes when the bomb passes over the correct place. Ah, jeez.
I don't need that gun anymore. I got this tiny one.
Talking of attention to detail, there are several points in this where you can just catch sight of the top half of Kyle Reese's head through the car with his eyes rolling up into his head. It's probably not something that you'll pay attention to the first time you watch the movie.
It's a good thing I don't take fall damage.
I'm pretty sure Arnold's dummy there just got paid the same salary.
And I think this is the scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger stops existing in this movie.
Not yet.
Ow.
That truck driver's the real hero of the movie.
Ow, my everything.
Man, don't underestimate truckers, alright? They're badass motherfuckers.
Well, more like those things are damn near impossible to stop, so.
Gosh darn it, I ran
those
over
stop.
another Arnold Schwarzenegger again. That's gonna take a real bite out of my paycheck.
But I don't get...
Yeah, he just killed this guy out of principle. He dick. I was on the road.
What I don't get is why the robot is going after the truck drivers.
Well,
wait,
because
he's going after
he's
the
commandeering
truck.
the truck.
Right.
Yeah, he's hijacking the truck. I love this.
Wait,
line.
is that Benedict Cumberbatch?
No.
Oh, it looked like him for a second.
This movie's too old for it to be Benedict.
Processing.
Man,
This is a stick. I don't know how to drive this.
The makeup and special effects in the present-day sequences still blows me away today.
Oh no, this movie looks fantastic especially for 1984. Like, you don't see these kinds of effects anymore.
You see, like
Because
this
everyone's-
right here, this.
Everyone's too busy
I was
doing
talking
CG.
about. Yeah, I was talking about like Arnold's wide-eyed stare. It's this moment from here on out that really stuck with me as a kid because he's so fucking pug-eyed.
Good thing I played all those hours of Twisted Metal.
Was there a...
See, I think I look the same way if I go 36 hours without going to sleep.
Okay. There's an easy
You're
way
covered
out of
in
this,
blood
Sarah.
and have a robot eye?
There's an easy way out of this, Sarah.
Walk left.
Let's go fast.
Go to the side of the road.
Yeah.
Go into a house or something.
Now you see, for some, as you see there are some quick shots right there where they cut to what's clearly another Arnold head. But they already have plenty of shots with him with the prosthetic over his eye, and I'm wondering why don't they just continue using that? Why have another animatronic head?
You know, going to blow up a tanker is probably not a good idea in trying to keep Sarah alive, Kyle.
Hey, she's at least on the sidewalk now. You know.
Yeah, but so is the truck.
Those 4 cars. Oh my god, how long did you make this fuse, dude?
Yeah, and I'm not buying it. The force of the explosion would still send her flying about 20 feet.
Cool
This is
moms don't
unfortunate
look at
because
explosions. They run
Kyle
away
Reese
and
tried
get
to hide
whiplash.
in the dumpster to get away from the explosion, but it still caught fire.
Well, I understand why it caught fire, but that would protect you from the explosion blast.
Obviously, she needs to jump in the refrigerator. Oh, but she's hurt, guys. Say she's got a cut over her eyebrow. That means it's realistic.
Oh my god, I think they just burned the burlap sack, man.
Okay, stop, drop, and roll. I've stopped and dropped.
I'm stopping, but I'm not really rolling.
It's the amazing effects in the present day sequence that really make the hokiness of the future scenes, the future post-apocalypse stuff, stick out rather.
Oh no, I got the android ending. Now I had to start with stop this all over again.
I am Arnold, a robot sent from the future to annihilate Sarah Connor. This is who I am.
Okay, Sarah, do not approach the killer robot.
Well, this is supposed to be like the fake out. You think he's dead at this point.
Yeah.
Except we all know better, and even at this point you should have been genre savvy enough to know better.
Well, they're playing the sad E1 music, so...
Okay.
Hooray, we did it. You and your mom Jean can go home now.
Oh dear.
Lord, not dead yet.
And now we get to see the Terminator exoskeleton. Which,
So, this
more-
is
more
all
like-
like stop
more-
motion, right?
Yeah, more like the terrible stop motion we'll be seeing soon.
well, some of it is apparently animatronic, but this is stop motion.
This is stop motion.
And
Close-ups
it-
are an animatronic.
Yeah, but the stop motion looks really bad. I'm sorry, it just does.
Of course. Well, I mean,
It's 1984, so...
Well, stop motion always looks bad. It's just a hazard of the of the method.
I was just straight up hazard. To its credit, though, there is something about the stop motion animation that does make the robot movements more unnerving.
And jarring, yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, in a way, it's kind of expected because, well, yeah, it's a robot.
It looks jittery, like it's broken.
Yeah.
Hi, obvious back screen.
Oh dear.
I'm
It's
using
like-
my head, like you said.
This is the one thing about Terminator 1 that's aged poorly. It's like 90% of the movie looks amazing even today, and that makes the 10% of the movie that doesn't look amazing look pretty bad.
Which is why it's only 10%.
Oh, so he's basically just making a bunch of random noise so he can't track their footsteps?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought we were just going to be doing the ending to the movie.
Or either that or you always want to push a lot of buttons at once.
No, I just figured you were reenacting the ending to Chucky 2.
Oh, Child's Play.
Yeah, Child's Play 2.
Oh, wait, was it 2 or was it 3?
I can't remember. The one where in the
Which one?
doll factory. And
I
they
can't
send them
believe
through
you guys have
machines.
watched those movies.
The-
They're
Hey,
hilarious.
look,
They're hilarious.
All right, look. Child's Play All right, it's not my favorite of the of horror movies, but to me, I think for like filling up your homework for horror movies, you gotta watch at least the first Child's Play.
And everything after that is hilarious.
Well, the first one still had its moments too.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was gonna watch like a hilariously bad horror movie, I'd watch Leprechaun before Child's Play.
So, well, you see, I actually think they're at the same level, where they're not so much horror, but like borderline black comedy.
What about Leprechaun Back in the Hood?
Which I hear is the best one. Would you believe that?
Best in terms of quality or best in terms of laughs?
Well, what are you watching Leprechaun for?
True. Maybe for Halloween Fest.
Maybe.
Poor Arnold. He has to be the less expressive version of this robot.
Oh, man.
Did he get top billing for this?
Arnold?
Yeah.
For this movie, maybe.
Well, he was on the cover.
Well, I mean,
he's on the cover now, but
yeah, but no, he'd be on the cover back then too. But I mean, like in terms of like whose name gets listed first on the box and things like that.
I think it depends on when the movie came out. Actually,
No, it was Schwarzenegger was always top bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in these kinds of things, it's like the top bill and the last billing actually are the most. It's just like for example, with the Avengers, the top billing is Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. The last bill is the second best, oddly enough.
Huh. I guess they go for effect rather than placement on the list.
Yeah, basically. I am a robot. I do not fuck.
I am a Terminator, not a crash test dummy.
Payback's a motherfucker.
Oh, bitch slapped. I need that turned into a
Just
GIF.
gave you this.
Terminator bitch slap.
Obvious back screen is obvious.
If you already had one of those explosives lying around, why didn't you just,
So how did that destroy the exoskeleton but not the tanker exploding?
Well, he stuck it in one of the joints, so it blew up from the inside and blew the head
And
apart.
the skin broke most of the fall.
I guess.
Surprise, I'm still not dead.
That's what we call going for a structural weakness.
Don't worry, fellas. I'll be back.
Oh,
Eh?
how did she break her leg there?
Shrapnel stuck
didn't
in
break.
the side.
Shrapnel stuck in the thigh.
Okay.
No, my mom jeans.
Yeah, which is why she's really screaming.
They survived the entire movie up until this point, too.
We'll miss you, mom jeans.
Oh, man, how can she be the mom of John Connor without mom jeans?
This is the part where the hero must fight alone because her two most vital companions have died.
Yes, Kyle Reese and the mom jeans.
No, I was talking about the left leg and the right leg.
Which she named one Kyle and the other one Reese.
In honor.
In honor of his now dead boyfriend.
Do the mom jeans make him return in T2?
No, why?
That's such a defining part of her character.
I mean, she's an actual mom then, too.
Well, that's what we call character development. You see, by the time the second movie rolls around, she's learned to move
Yeah, she
on.
develops tastes.
Surprise, I'm still not dead.
Would you like to do 30 days description of Winrar?
Would you please like to make it and then explore your default browser?
Now, here's what I don't get. Apparently, somehow they find the non-crushed arm of the Terminator, and that sparks off Skynet or whatever.
The leftover arm and the chip inside its head.
Well, so
That makes
bringing
more
the Terminator back in time is what makes Skynet to begin with. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Time travel.
So then, in the timeline where Skynet was made originally, what made Skynet?
Nope. Just fucking stop.
The irony.
We'll get to
of course-
Genesis eventually.
The irony, of course, being that if they hadn't sent the Terminator back in time, they wouldn't exist in the first place.
In this timeline, anyway.
So they're just propelled by the sheer power of their own plot hole. Oh, okay.
We'll
Time
get to
travel is
Genesis
bullshit.
eventually.
Time
do
travel
we-
is bullshit.
Oh, you just made me realize we're gonna have to do all the Terminator movies now, even the bad ones.
Look, I'm perfectly content with just doing the first two. We can save the other 17 for later down the road.
This is what we
Let me
call
touch your skin.
a rocket launcher moment.
Use this.
I'll show you stars.
Yeah!
Man, normally it's Arnold that gets the cool catchphrase.
You know, it's a really good thing that it managed to get its arm out of there, because otherwise she would have no chance of explaining this to the cops.
I think she just doesn't. I think she just runs away.
What you don't see is that next week when she goes grocery shopping, a can of like peaches or something falls over and it's Arnold's face on it. Because he used to smell from this. This was a canned peach factory.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, what about the Terminator Mario mix you thought of Ted? Everything hurts.
Well, yeah, she actually does wind up having to explain to the cops because they're here.
Well, I mean, she has the robot right there.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I don't know necessarily if they're gonna believe the time travel bullshit, but like somebody built a killer death robot. I mean, that makes sense.
Well, considering it's the 80s, that's quite an accomplishment.
Da 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 da.
Now, I suppose the implication is that afterward, she just decided to go on the run or something.
Random dog.
Well, the dog was what warned them before, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Dogs
it's not like it knew it was a Terminator. It was just barking at some random person that didn't know.
Yeah.
Well,
but,
dogs, but it's been established multiple times that dogs are how they.
Oh man, everybody knows
Differentiate
that
between
robots
Terminators,
won't go to Mexico.
Oh man, she's gone renegade.
So when we wind up with an image of like a Raiden Interventions where he's just in a sombrero for no reason. You just see Arnold pull up on a motorcycle wearing a sombrero.
With a poncho.
Oh, so that's where
You gotta have the poncho too.
So that's where the hasta la vista came from. He just switched to Spanish mode.
That bandana is tacky.
Why didn't you wear it earlier? It would have given you infinite ammo.
Little John, I'd like to apologize in advance because by the time you hear this, society will already have moved on to CDs and you probably won't know how cassette tapes work.
Not to mention this whole time travel bullshit would be so convoluted that I don't think this will make any sense.
See, my mom gave me these tapes, but all I could make out was. I don't understand.
Whatever you do, John, don't watch Genesis.
Turns out that kid is actually a Terminator. Put-um.
That's actually a really smart plan. Why didn't the hyper-intelligent machines from the future think of it?
Because we had to explain where the photo came from.
I hate time travel. I hate it. It sucks. It sucks so much.
Oh, man. You know, the entire premise of this movie is that it's a time loop, and then the second movie broke the loop, and then the third movie had to reestablish the loop somehow. And then the fourth movie just sort of ignored time travel and took place in the future for the most part.
And then we got to Genesis.
And then Genesis broke the concept of time travel.
No, Sarah, look out. You're going to drive into the matte painting. No, Sarah.
Gotta go straight Wile E. Coyote on our asses.
No, you see, the matte painting starts halfway up the road, so there's just part of a wall that's painted to look like the road's going on.
Oh, so Wile E. Coyote was here.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. There you go. That's the Terminator. Always love going back to this. I'll catch it on cable most often than not nowadays.
I really liked that one. It was... I'm not like... I wouldn't say it's a straight-up horror movie, but... well, I mean, I guess you could put it in that category, but it was definitely... I liked it
Well, more so it was back then, but...
Yeah. Like, I guess it would probably fall as a thriller now. I don't...
Yeah, I mean, what did you think, Ty? It was your first time
It
viewing
was pretty effective. Like, I loved
Well, you say that, but that's because modern Hollywood horror tends to focus on gore.
Yeah.
And
There's no such thing as horror anymore for Hollywood.
it's just kind of lost any sense of subtlety these days.
Well, there was gore, but it was actually very restrained. Like, they only used it... Like, honestly, the thing that had the most gore was the Terminator, and they used that very effectively. So this isn't normally my type of movie, but I liked it a lot, actually. So, you know.
Yeah.
Can we just not watch the rest of them? I don't want to
We
get...
have to watch T2.
We have to watch
but I don't want to get too attached and then have my hopes fall due.
Here's what you do: you just accept that the series officially ended with Terminator 2, and everything else was just utter hacks trying to keep
Make
the
money.
franchise alive on
Fan
life
fiction?
support.
Okay, I think I can work that.
Honestly, that's what Genesis feels like.
Yeah, but like pretty much everything in the modern day, I liked a lot, and really the only things that didn't really work for me were the above ground scenes in the future, which looked lame, and also the fact that the freaking psychologist lived and everybody else on the police station died. That man, I hate movies. But no, this was really good. I liked it a lot.
Maybe that was an artistic statement about the unfairness of reality.
And in the next movie, the psychologist will write a book about it and then get killed there because he tried to over-publicize it.
No, he lives.
I'm more making fun of Dr. Loomis in Halloween.
Oh, right.
Ah, man.
Well, yeah, but
That was a classic.
I love that they have the other Sarahs as wrong Sarah.
Your entire existence is wrong.
That's gotta.
How do you put that on your resume? I was wrong, Sarah number 1.
and I was wrong, Sarah number 2.
That's gotta suck on an existential level because, like, their only real existence, the only real impact on history in the end was to delay the Terminator for 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie though, at this point, I think you owe it to yourself to watch it.
Well, I mean, if they're listening to this,
There are people who
commentary,
just
they
like to
probably
listen to
just
it rather than the
watched
movie.
it, John.
No, yeah, but there are some people that.
Yeah,
listen
some
to
people
the,
who just listen to the commentaries as podcasts.
Without ever watching the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you haven't watched this, and especially the second one, if you haven't seen the second one yet, what are you doing with yourself?
Don't go near the video games though; they're
Super
awful.
Nintendo/arcade.
Watch the movie.
Well, the Sega CD
Play the
one is
video.
okay.
Hi, lying again.
Maybe. I'm not entirely sure.